So welcome Riaz, the director of Sodium Day.
I think since even attending school or then teaching for several years at school, in high schools in the 90s and early 2000s, like I just felt like it's such an amazing arena to find stories from. So I always want to tell a story in that environment, I think. And also, I strongly felt like besides maybe a show like Yizo Yizo, we didn't really get to see the student experience in a government high school. Like we haven't really seen that sort of told genuinely, told from experience, and told from a perspective that is not just gangsters or not just crime and not just the horrible oppression of poverty, but like real people experiencing the environment. If you ask anybody, I think worldwide, I think they're going to reflect on their high school experience as being one of the most important formative experiences in their life. And not just from an educational point of view, but because you start out high school as a prepubescent and you finish high school as essentially an adult at 17, 18, 19 years old. So it's a really important, confusing, beautiful journey that you go through when you go through high school. And I remember that feeling in myself, and I saw it as a teacher, you know, watching young people grow from children into adults. It's just a wonderful environment. Whether or not the experience is hard or easy or private school or rich or poor, it's still a very rich experience. I guess I really liked the Breakfast Club because it was a contained, it all happened in sort of like one detention, which then if you've seen Sodium Day, it all happens over one day at the school. So I liked that format, and I liked the ensemble feel of it. Like there were a lot of different stories happening at the same time. In fact, Sodium Day has more stories than Breakfast Club because it was a smaller class. But I liked that idea, like of this interweaving of many stories and many personalities. So I like that. I think Stand By Me is another film that for me would have influenced it, which is a coming of age film. You know, it's just young people confronted with situations of tragedy and violence and finding themselves and growing up and coming of age through that experience. The whole film was pretty difficult to shoot. It was a huge cast with a very tiny crew and a very low budget. So every environment came with its. One of the most stressful scenes to shoot was there's a part of the climax of the film takes place in a confrontation on a tarmac outside in the playground of the school, and because there's such a lot of time pressure, you shoot, and when you're shooting exteriors, the light is an issue. So literally while we were shooting, as the sun was going down, the shadow was moving across the tarmac, and like you can actually see it coming. And the moment the shadow gets to the actors, the lighting is ruined. So we're watching the shadow move, and we're trying to get this very complex scene complete as the shadow is coming towards us. And it's like a long and complicated scene. When you watch the film, you'll see like a confrontation between gangsters and a group of students, and it keeps on getting more and more complex as it goes on. So that was quite stressful to complete, and I think we shot that scene over twice, and I've used some from one day and some shots from the other shoot day and put them together to complete the scene. Yeah. So I do this thing when I make a film, when I write a film. Before I even put pen to paper to write the script, I can press play in my head and watch the whole film. And then I only start to write. So it's just about then matching that vision to the vision that's in my head to what is now, what is possible on screen. But I think how the how the crew and the cast came together. I mean, the cinematographer and the production designer and the individual actors who all kind of brought, I think they made the film, their energy and their skill made the film better than what I saw in my head. The audience response to this film has been off the charts. Like every screening that I've gone to, people really, really love the film, more often than not. And that's one of those strange things that happens in the chemistry of filmmaking. Sometimes the chemistry of the film itself is just good, and so you get the best out of everybody. And so everyone's contribution has made this film what it is, which I think better than I expected it to be. So filmmaking has never been my full-time profession, although I have worked many hours in the film industry as an editor, as a director, as a writer, and then also in front of camera as an actor and a stunt person. So I have plenty of experience, but I don't consider it a full-time job. I don't do it every single day on a day-to-day basis. So I do spend time teaching. I do teach in the sciences, and I also teach at film schools. And I do a term at UCT where I do advanced acting for camera for fourth-year students. So I jump around a little bit. I jump around a lot, but that's not to say that I'm not invested in film projects when I do them. I don't have a favorite. Everybody brought something. Like everyone, if you watch the film, you'll see like every performance is a person doing the absolute best. And I can't deny that every student was doing that. I say student, every actor was doing that. The reason I say student is because a lot of them were still students at the time. I mean, the moments where they brought their own experiences and improvised, and I mean, that makes the film. You know, they got the characters, we took the time to make sure that the characters were consolidated, and then they became those characters, all of them. And there's so many fun moments with them. Like I can't choose now, because if I start, I will just rattle off every moment in the film, or every scene in the film, and how it all came together. But sometimes I've seen projects, and also because I've taught at film school, I see young people coming through film school as well. There are projects where the idea is good, but they haven't learned the language of film well enough to tell the story in an entertaining way that's going to capture audiences to come to the cinema and watch it and pay money for it. And that's a skill that needs to be learned, and it needs to be honed, and it needs to be constantly evolving in the person. You can't just do a course and then say, okay, now I'm a director, and then just shoot. So if we have too many people like that, then the South African films that come out are not entertaining enough. And if they're not entertaining enough, people don't pay to go and see them. People don't pay to go and see them. No one's going to invest in South African films. So my advice to young filmmakers is to continue to skill yourself, continue to expose your work to a critical audience so that you can get proper feedback, and also look for people with true expertise, and then align yourself with them and learn and continue to make films. Don't stop making projects. We are the luckiest generation that has ever been on this earth in terms of filmmaking, in that the device that everybody has is capable of making actually pretty good media. Like, it's actually pretty good. It can shoot well, you can edit, and you can put things together. It's all at your fingertips. You know, we've got all these opportunities to make and get our work out there. Like, take it and continue to make and continue to make and continue to make, and hone your skill until you get to a point where it's good enough, and you'll know when it's there because the audience response will be there. I can pretty much guarantee that if you go and see the film, that you will be entertained and you will be moved. And I don't say that lightly. This is not a promise that I'm making in order to get people to come and see the film. It's based on the test screenings. People love this film. It's accessible to like a wide range of age groups and demographics, and everybody takes something from it. And I haven't met a single person who's come back to me and said they were not entertained at a high level. So So from that perspective, like, please go and see the film and see the young talent that the crew and the actors have showcased for South Africa.